Hey everyone, welcome to the kitchen sink of Scribe. Here I'll be just using Scribe in general, explaining a bit but not much, and this is the usual workflow that might help you. Like if you're stuck in any problem, you can watch this and this should solve all the problems. It's just a complete end-to-end workflow, and there are more detailed videos that you can watch. This is just the kitchen sink. So just a demo on how powerful Scribe can be. Alright, so let's get started. So in this video, I am a designer who wants to generate, or I want to scribe two frames here. I have a certificate, right, that has a name, occupation, company that I have to replace. And I also have an ID card that has name, occupation, and I want to replace these images as well. Alright, so first thing first, I've created a sheet that we can refer to, right? So I just have two people here, you can have 1,000, right? So it has columns name, photo, photo 2, email, phone, blood group, occupation, and company. Alright, so now first let's add the scribe sheet spot to this sheet so that it can access the data, right? So let me just do that. Okay, so I did add the scribe sheet spot and I'll share it with the bot. Yeah, I want to share anyways. Alright, so now the scribe sheet spot has access to this data. Okay, now I have name, occupation, company, and photo 2 here, which I will be using in this kitchen sink. Alright, so I want to replace this John Doe with the name column. So I'll just name this layer as hashtag or pound name. Alright, so Scribe will know that this has to be replaced with the name column, and this is case sensitive, and that is why the n is small and not capital. Yes, and so that's done. I'll also do that for ID card. Okay, where is it? Yep. So hashtag name. I'll also do that for occupation. So the column name was occupation, so here comes occupation. Now in this text I would just like to replace, I would not like to replace the entire text layer, but some parts of the text, that is this occupation and this company, and I would also like to retain the styles of these placeholders. To do that, Scribe Pro has a feature called partials. In partials, you just partially replace the text. To do that, first things first, I will have to select this layer, and so I want to use the name, the occupation column and the company column here. So I'll name this layer as hash occupation comma hash company. So this is a comma separated list of variables that I would like to use in this text layer. The order does not matter, it's just that all of them should be there. They should be prefixed with a hashtag and they should be comma separated, no spaces between. Alright, so I have this layer named out, and now I want to tell Scribe what content to replace with these variables. For that I would be interpolating the string. That essentially means is that I would be adding a double curly brace here, and this is the column name without the pound, and no white spaces in between the brace and the column name. So it's curly brace, occupation, curly brace, close, and the company will also become company, right. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. We have it named here, we have it here, and that's it. We have this occupation as hash occupation, we have this name as hash name. So we are good to go with the text front, on the text front. Right, now I would also like to replace these images See this? Yeah. So I would like to replace these images with some images in my drive folder. So let's open drive. Alright, so I'm in my drive. Let me just create a folder. Alright, let's call it ID cards, because I am making ID cards. The name does not matter, right? I'll open this ID cards folder, and now this is my playground. I will put some images that I already downloaded here. So these images are called Tracy _2, Christy, and Christy _2, all of them being JPEGs. So I'll just drag drop. Awesome. Now that this folder has these files, also I would put my files only in the root of this folder, that is the ID cards, and I won't create subfolders within, because for simplicity, Scribe does not work with subfolders. All of them have to be in the root folder. Now this folder is available to me in general, but Scribe cannot access it because it's still private for Scribe. So let's give Scribe access to this folder, that is the ID cards folder. So I'll click this, click share, and I'll add the Scribe Sheets part as collaborator. You can find the email in documentation, and I've added it, and I'll not notify it. I don't know why I should notify it, and share. Okay, so share anyway, and that's it. So now the Scribe sheet bot has access to this drive folder as well. So since we are using drive folder, which is a special case of image files, we need to know the folder ID. So the folder ID can be found in this URL of this drive folder, that is the ID cards folder. It usually starts after the folder's path and goes till the next slash. So we don't have a slash here, so this is the ID, right? So I'll just take a note of it. Yep. Now I'll go back to the sheets. So since we are going to use drive, we don't need to mention absolute URLs of the photos or the images here. Just the file names are enough, because we are going to mention the drive folder in Scribe soon, in Figma soon, right? So just the file names are enough, and that's how you need to use it. So I need to replace this frames fill. So on first off, I need to tell it that, okay, so you have to fetch from the photo column. So I'll tell it that, hey dude, you are #photo, and I want you to use, I don't want you to fetch from an absolute URL, I want you to use a drive folder. For that, I will mention the drive folder attribute. So that is to mention like attributes are prefixed with exclamation mark. So I'll just add exclamation mark, drive folder, the D is small, the F is caps, equals, and then the folder name, which happens to be the one I just copied from the URL. So paste. So now Scribe knows that, okay, this is a frame and it has a hashtag and photo, so I have to fetch the URL from photo column. But hey, there is an attribute for drive folder, so I have to fetch this from drive. So the column names are to be from the column values are to be fetched from this drive folder, and they are just file names. All right, I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah. And similarly, I want to replace this photo with photo 2, which is my column name in my sheet, and this has the same drive folder, so I'll give the drive folder attribute. And I think we are done with these, setting the stage up. All right, so I selected both of these frames, and I can scribe both of them together from the same single data sheet. So let's run Scribe. Okay, so I will like to use Google Sheets with Scribe as collaborator. If Scribe is not the collaborator, then you'll get an error saying that, hey, Scribe cannot find the sheet. Alright, so since Scribe was collaborator, it got access to the sheet, and this is my kitchen sink sheet. So I'll just hit retrieve and hope for the best. There are 2 frames here. Okay, so for the detailed certificate frame, it generated 2 samples for me. So as you can see that, okay, Tracy False is the real name, clerical assistant is her occupation, and Integral Wealth is their company. All right, and same goes for Christy Herbert. All right, so it works. Now let me try the ID card sample. This is just the preview. So Scribe automatically generates up to 3 previews for you. Awesome. So Scribe did fetch the kitten images from our drive, right? Christy and Christy 2, and it showed us the second sample. Let me generate the sample AF also. Looks good, and as you can see that even the text got replaced. One more thing is that partials worked perfectly here in the detailed certificate frame. So you can see that none of that text got changed, only the variables within that text got changed, and they also maintained the styling. This Integra Wealth, the company, is still colored as we mentioned there. Awesome. Okay, so now we come to export configuration. So I would like the format to be PNG, the naming, so I can name it with all these columns. Make sure you have a unique name, because then otherwise it will overwrite. So I think my name is unique, and my casing is snake case, or I can also, this is the file naming. So if you want, for example, if my name is Ishan Chhabra, so it will become ishan_chabra.png, right? So compression is for zip. So if you want, if you'll be zipping this, so if you want, you can deflate the compression option or select none. So this looks good to me for me. Let's Scribe. Now this will do some network image calls. So the ID card might take a while in general, like a couple of seconds more. That's because it's doing a network call. Awesome. So Scribe is downloaded, Scribe is zipped, and Scribe generated 4 frames in 8 seconds. That is 2 seconds per frame, and that's fast. All right, so let's see the generated frame Scribe. Okay, so here's the zip that I just downloaded from Figma, and it's very nicely having these folders for these frames. And there is Christy Hebert and Tracy Falls, and those images come from your drive, and there's a certificate for them as well. Awesome. So that's the kitchen sink for Scribe, and I hope you like Scribe in general. If you are in Scribe free and you would like to unlock a lot of options like partials and images, then please upgrade to Scribe Pro. There are upgrade guides in the documentation. And I think that's it from this video. If you like this video, then like this video, and thank you for loving Scribe. It loves you back. Thank you.